One of my friends sent me a video yesterday, and the premise of the video was essentially about God and the devil, and the fact that the devil can overpower God. And I know like that statement can raise a few eyebrows, right? But hear me out. When we hear, well, let me say it like this, exactly how the guy in the video said it. We give more power to what the devil can do more than to what God can do. Simply just based off the fact that, let's say now, in the video he used an example. I might edit the video in. I most likely won't edit the video in, but if I don't, then I'll just leave a link to the video in the description or something. But the guy in the video said, okay, I'm gonna read, like, this was like a crowd he was talking to.
I bought this book of spells, and I thought I'd bring it here tonight, and I want to read a few of these spells out of here for you. I just want to kind of see how they land with some of you. Now, as I'm talking about this, I'm starting watching people fidget. I finally go, stop, time out, okay? Before you get too upset, I did not buy a book of spells, all right? Some of you in this room thought that if I got up here and read out of a book of spells, that some dark power would be unleashed in the room that might get on you and your family. But every week, you guys come in here and read the Word of God and don't think it's going to have any effect at all.
And he talks about reading a book of spells. He talks about reading a book of spells. He's like, oh, I'm going to read a book of spells right now. And then everyone, like, he can notice that everyone starts to fidget, starts to get uncomfortable a little bit. And he called them out on it. He was like, yo, like, I've not actually got a book of spells. Like, I was lying. Like, you guys already had more faith in the fact that the devil can get to you through, or like that some darkness was gonna get to you. Just like, and you don't even know, like, but you go to church every Sunday, right? You go to church every Sunday, read the Bible, and you think that it's gonna take a lot for it to have an effect. But just a small book of spells. The book was even thin as well. When I saw him hold it in there, the book was thin. When he just mentioned the book of spells, he thought that they thought that, yeah, like, this is gonna have such a big effect on me. And like, even if it was true, like, he was reading a book of spells, it would have had an effect on them. Do you know why? Where attention is flowing to, energy's going to. Where attention is on, energy's flowing to that thing that you're giving attention. You're literally fueling. You're constantly fueling, like, the non-physical concepts with your emotions, your thoughts. So, like, just being scared of the devil in itself is enough to fuel it to actually have some sort of effect on you. You know, and then, well, there was more to the video. That was just a clip from a guy that was reacting to it, right? But the guy reacting to it was just like you know the devil, like, you have enough faith that the devil will do something, but you have such little faith that God can't even do anything. Like, you need to 50% of the, like, faith you have in that fear of the devil, you need to take that and put it in faith in God, literally. And it's true, it's literally true. Like, we worry too much about the sin and the karma, and, like, you know, oh, the devil can get to us through this type of music, or the devil can get to us through these type of people. Like, you're not even trying to fuel energy into all the positive sides of being in tune with God, being spiritual. You're not even trying to fuel any give any of the, like, oh, I could bump into someone that could, you know, bring me closer to God today. And instead, you're thinking about who can I avoid so I don't fall into this temptation, that temptation, right? It's good to have that discernment and be aware, right? But giving it too much attention is like, it's gonna happen eventually. It's like a paradox. What you're trying to avoid eventually manifests, because what your mind dwells on tends to form in the physical. Okay, I thought I stopped recording. Yeah, what the mind dwells on tends to manifest. You know, because that's what you're giving attention to. That's what you're giving energy to, for it to happen. You have to give attention to what you want, not what you want to avoid. And what you want is for God's power to actually have an effect. Let's say going to church. I'm assuming, like, let's just assume you're a Christian that's going to church, right? You want to go there with the mind that whatever little I can get, that it can have an impact. I think that's one thing I'm really grateful that my parents did, that they kept reminding me that, you know, it's not about having the whole sermon give you some crazy enlightenment. It can literally just be a line from the song, from the praise and worship, or it could just be one line. And that's how it's been happening as well. Like, there was one time in church, I think I've already said this in one of my videos, old, okay, not that old, but like maybe somewhere halfway, my videos when I was still back in Coventry, back home. I had a testimony, right, that literally the whole service, right, I was like dozing off, but the part I was awake, and this was like I was awake, but like I couldn't even go back to sleep type thing. And I know it's bad, I know it sounds bad, 'cause sleeping in church, whatever, but just let me land. Let me land. When I was awake, I actually listened. And my uncle who was preaching at the time, he was saying, and this is, I promise you, like, whatever else he was talking about, I couldn't tell you, bro. I couldn't tell you the story that linked to whatever he was saying, but all I heard, and that resonated with me so much, that when he said this line, it was all I was thinking about the whole service. Like, I couldn't hear anything else. He said, you don't just have to believe, your body has to believe. Meaning that it's not enough for you to, I mean, it is enough for you to have that yearning for God, right? That your heart's, you're seeking God's heart out. Your heart wants God, you know, it's craving God, but you have to tell your flesh that you truly believe this, like, because it's like a fight between your soul and flesh. Like, I remember at the time as well, I was struggling with, like, there was one thing I wanted, but then my flesh wanted something else. And flesh can be powerful. Flesh was winning every time, honestly. But when he said you have to pray that your body should believe, you have to make your body believe it. Your flesh must believe it just as much as you believe it in your soul. That stuck with me, and when I got home that day, I tried to pray. In fact, I think if I remember correctly, I didn't want to pray, because I said that, no, I did want to pray, but my flesh, it's like I was feeling agitated, like itchy, like I wanted to just like rip my skin off, like I don't want to pray, I don't want to, you know, I don't want to face God, I don't want to read my Bible, open my Bible. But I submitted anyway. I went on my knees, I went on my knees. I prayed. I asked God to make my body believe, and eventually God pointed me to some signs in the Bible. In that very moment, He led me to passages that that pertained literally to what I needed to hear in that moment. And then I heard the voice of God. I heard the voice of God resonate within me. I heard God speak. Bearing in mind as well, when I say I hear God speak, and because I understand this now, I can now say why you would more than likely hear God's voice within you. Because God is literally in all of us. God's energy is inside of all of us. So more often than not, your answers will come from within, not from the physical plane. God is not an entity that's outside of us. God is energy that's in all of us. That's what you have to understand as well. If that can help you to maybe get closer with God, if you understand what God is, instead of trying to look for answers outside of yourself, look within. And then some of the materials we see outside of ourselves are really things pointing to what we can do for what's within. Because I think we take everything too literal, especially religious people, Christians, let me say. Maybe even more. I don't really know anything about Islam. I can't really speak on it. I only know things about Christianity. So I can say that we do take some things too literally. I think this is just a matter of esoteric and exoteric perspectives. So I can touch on that a bit more in other videos, but today I just wanted to talk about the power, the energy you're given to, what forces you're giving energy to, what your mind is dwelling on, and if you're operating with fear or faith. And when you do want to give energy to God, make sure the energy is faithful energy, not fearful. Not that, oh, I fear God, I don't want God to do that, It has to be out of love and appreciation for God. Remember that, meditate on that. Meditate on what you're pouring energy into. That's all I have for today. If you resonated with this, subscribe. And if you want to hear more as well, subscribe. Get my bulking guide in the description. Join the community server in the description. Or you just want to have a one-on-one call about a topic of your choosing, or you want to change your perspective, or if you want any clarity on anything, I can do my best to help with that, with my insight. And yeah, stay blessed in it.